Welcome back. Well, the markets are indicating that we open up more or less flattish, but for the time being, let's get some fundamental analysis going. Deven Choksey of DRChoksey Finserv joins us on the show. Hi, Deven. Good morning. Always good to see you. And I think the markets are in a better space in comparison to maybe the last couple of weeks or so. So that's good news. Let's focus on a couple of names. Yesterday, IndusInd Bank was the big casualty. The stock lost more than 25% of its market capitalization in a single day. And the problem is not valuations, the problem is now trust. And that's why, on a 2.5% impact, you see the market capitalization getting eroded by close to around 30%. What's your view on the stock? And also, it had a rub-off effect on Ashok Leyland. And now the fear is maybe, in fact, some of that promoter pledge will come into question. Your view on both these two names?
Hey, Nigel. Good morning. Well, I think without getting into what the domino effect it could have, I would think that on the fundamental merits, the IndusInd Bank probably, I think, will have to absorb this amount, I think, which they already said that they will. And maybe I think they have to get along with the entire subject hereafter. But more important aspect out there is that such a big item, I think, remains absent as far as I think the controlling mechanism is concerned. And as a result of which, I think the disclosure has not taken place. Both these issues, I think they go side by side. On one side, I think the hedging mechanism remain absent in this particular transaction, amounting to such a huge amount of loss. And on the other side, I think the reporting mechanism also remain absent, and that is where the issues of trust arises. At this point of time, though the price is significantly corrected, the downside may be less comparatively, but enough amount of confidence to gain. I guess I think one will have to pass through a quarter's result, and thereafter one can possibly look into this particular stock of hedge.
Anyway, beyond IndusInd Bank, Deven, hi, morning. More stocks to discuss with you. I wanted to put the spotlight on PB Fintech. I don't know if you caught this or not, because they announced this healthcare foray a while back, right? I mean, the intention is to create some sort of maybe a network of hospitals or something very specific so that they can keep costs in check. And now they're talking about infusing almost 700 crores in this company, PB Healthcare. How do you view the company and the stock?
Yes, sir. Very good morning. Well, I think without getting into specific at this point of time, because I don't have complete detail in front of me, I believe that the healthcare market per se, I think, is growing and growing exponentially as far as I think the country's overall population is concerned. Now, given the kind of strength that they have demonstrated in the platform business, I think if they end up creating a similar kind of a impact, probably in the healthcare segment, it could mean that significant amount of business to talk about. How they integrate themselves with the hospitals and other healthcare facilities is something which one needs to study based on, I think, the business model that they will probably disclose at some point of time. But the size of the healthcare market remains, I think, absolutely very convincing. And any player, I think, trying to integrate themselves into this particular business could possibly see better times going forward.
Okay, all right. That's on PB Healthcare. Deven, let's talk about the other big story. Starlink seems to be all set for its India entry. I mean, they still need to get government approvals, regulatory approvals, but they've tied up with both Jio as well as Bharti Airtel. What's your sense? I mean, I don't know if this is going to cause any sort of a meaningful impact in terms of earnings, P&L in year one itself or not. But what would your call be on both the stocks? I mean, on Reliance as well as on Bharti in light of these developments?
Yes, I think there has been a missing link between both these companies as far as I think providing the broadband services to the satellite is concerned. Though I think both these companies have created their own setup, I think, for that, but still, I think this is an important tie-up that I would call it as. Even though I consider that out of 140 crore population, I think the uncovered segment of the population would be somewhere around between 9 to 12 crores, which is less than 10% of the population. It may remain uncovered through the current fiber network, the wireline network, and not forgetting the fact that government is significantly putting money in the fiber for BSNL to go to the last mile connectivity. Given the kind of a situation of a small population still remaining uncovered, I would like to think that largely this particular tie-up could possibly offer some of the related services in the defense as well as in the healthcare, which could possibly be a meaningful kind of a use of the satellite-based communication that these two companies will be providing. There is a rough cut estimate available about the size of the market, which is close to around $19 billion, but that needs to be established. I don't think that I think immediately one can count on that particular aspect. But yes, I think this is one missing link clause in the business model of both these companies, which is now getting plugged in. And should the regulatory clearance come in, we'll come to know about how they roll out the business models.
Okay, all right. Deven, what about Tata Motors? There were the management met various sell-side analysts. The stock has seen a sharp pullback from the top. Do you think it's a good time to get in now?
Yes, Nigel, absolutely. I think the correction in the stock price is probably more than warranted. I think that the fundamentals of the business remain absolutely strong and convincing. In the passenger vehicle segment as well as in the commercial vehicle segment, I think this company has given, I think, a good amount of direction about how to manage the cost and grow the market share in the business. Passenger vehicle is a classic turnaround story that they have demonstrated, including in electric vehicles, wherein they have been early starters in this particular line of activity and have created the impact in the market by way of producing the profitable business. And same is situation with commercial vehicle, which is getting demerged from the mainframe Tata Motors in the current year. So obviously, I think we are likely to see the larger amount of growth coming into this particular business. We remain distinctly confident about the possibilities of some kind of synergy of the tie-up with the global markets opening up. And maybe I think some of the global companies want to take plunge in India. They may probably look at the synergetic tie-up with companies like Tata Motors. So that is a good possibility which can be ruled out. So current level, yes, I think everything is discounted in the price. Maybe the stock demands, I think, a fresh look into the portfolio.
Okay, all right, Deven. Good hearing your thoughts as always. Thanks a lot for joining in. Wishing you a good trading session ahead and looking forward to chatting up with you in the coming days as well.